I'm just an ordinary college student. But to the university president and my counselor, I'm a real piece of work. Because I can trigger an acute heart attack just by eating hot pot. Even drinking tea somehow poisons me. Every major hospital in the city has a very important person room reserved in my name. All because I'm bound to the all-affliction system. Not only do I have to experience every disease on the list randomly, but once I survive each one and clear the critical stage, I gain permanent immunity to that disease. The corresponding organ gets a permanent upgrade too. That's how I keep getting stronger. Right now, back in the dorm, my 3 roommates and I are busy mixing our dipping sauces for hot pot. We don't even notice that someone is filming us. Then a voice cuts through the room. How's the hot pot? I'm still stirring my sauce, not even looking up. Can't you see I'm still mixing? Haven't even taken a bite yet. Then maybe tell me how it tastes after you've actually tried it. If you're hungry, just sit down and join us. The moment I turn around, my voice cracks. Counselor Leo, what are you doing here? Counselor Leo sneers. If I hadn't shown up, who knows what you'd be cooking in here next time? Everyone, on your feet. That one shout sends all 3 roommates jumping to their feet on instinct. I'm the only one still sitting there, frozen. Ding! Eligible host detected. Binding system now. I freeze for a second. Then pure joy explodes in my chest. It's here! I've finally been chosen. Starting today, I've got to cheat too. System binding complete. Congratulations, host, on successfully binding to the all-affliction system. This system has carefully curated hundreds of diseases for the host. Fractures, malignant tumors, leukemia, heart disease, and more. The host may now select one disease to experience. The smile freezes on my face. My expression shifts from joy to shock and finally to pure disbelief. Other people's systems hand out money and superpowers. Mine hands me a disease catalog. No response detected. The system will now select on the host's behalf. Congratulations, the host has received acute myocardial infarction. Damn it, this cursed system is actually serious? Every other system out there helps its host grow stronger and rise to greatness. So why did I end up with this piece of garbage? I snap back to reality and look at my counselor. Counselor Leo, this is a beef tallow broth base I brought specially from my hometown, rich and fragrant. Why don't you sit down and have some? Counselor Leo can't believe what he's hearing. He actually wonders if he misheard. This student knows full well he's the counselor, and isn't the least bit scared. Moreover, he's inviting him to sit down and eat. Counselor Leo is practically fuming. Why are you still sitting there? Get up now! I frown, and slowly rise to my feet, one hand pressing against my chest. Counselor Leo, keep it down, I have a heart condition. Counselor Leo scoffs. I've reviewed every single medical file for this year's freshman. I know exactly who has what condition. Trying to fake an illness in front of me? You're playing tricks in front of a master. He storms up to me and barks, "What's your name?" Mal. Fine, Mal, you 4 are in violation of dorm regulations for using unauthorized electrical appliances. According to university policy, your 3 roommates each receive a formal warning. And you, disrespectful and unrepentant, will write me a 3,000-word self-criticism by tonight. If it doesn't satisfy me, I'm calling your parents in. Counselor Leo is absolutely fuming. The live stream chat lights up with gleeful comments. This guy's got nerves of steel. Zero fear in front of his counselor. Did you miss the part where the counselor is about to lose his mind? This guy's gonna get special treatment for the next 4 years. While the chat buzzes, I speak up again. Counselor Leo, can you please lower your voice? I genuinely have a heart condition. My 3 roommates stare at me with pure admiration. Bro, you are committed to this bit. Counselor Leo lets out an exasperated laugh. He reaches out and jabs a finger hard into my chest. You really don't know when to quit, do you? He hasn't even finished the sentence when I suddenly clutch my shirt, my face twisting in pain. In an instant, my face drains to a deathly white, and my lips turn dark purple. I feel all the warmth draining from my body, rushing inward toward my heart. The next second, I black out and hit the floor with a thud. Counselor Leo stands there stunned. Lena and her colleague also go pale with shock. But Lena recovers first. She dashes over and shoves the camera right in my face for a close-up. That snaps everyone else back to reality. Quick, get Dr. Vera. Counselor Leo panics. He drops to his knees beside me, completely at a loss. The live stream explodes. No way. His acting is insane. He just dropped on cue. Heart attack? That's one of the deadliest. Looks like we're waiting to attend his funeral. That comment barely drifts across the screen before my condition worsens. Every ounce of strength drains out of me, and my body goes completely limp. Counselor Leo, who was raging just moments ago, is now on his knees, holding me, tears streaming down his face. Mal, hold on, please don't die. My roommates go dead silent. Counselor Leo, who was throwing his weight around just seconds ago, is now on the floor, sobbing and begging me to survive. Just then, President Dorian rushes in with a group of university administrators. They had been waiting downstairs, ready for a scheduled media interview. Then word reached them mid-interview that a student upstairs had just gone into cardiac arrest. President Dorian arrives, gasping for breath, and the first thing he sees is my ghostly white face. His mind goes completely blank. Seriously? This bad? It's only been a few minutes. How is he already this pale? Are college students really this fragile these days? He's pacing like a cat on a hot tin roof. Because if a student dies on campus, when the Ministry of Education comes knocking, he is the first one on the hook as the president. Under the anxious eyes of all those watching, Dr. Vera, the campus doctor, comes rushing in with her medical kit. Excuse me, make way. I'm the campus doctor. But the moment she sees my face, she visibly flinches. Everyone watching her reaction feels their stomach drop. President Dorian steps forward urgently. Dr. Vera, how bad is it? Dr. Vera pries open my eyelids, examines them carefully, then stands up and snaps. His pupils are fully dilated, and you're asking me how bad it is? Why is everyone crowding around? You want to suffocate him? Back up, all of you. Has anyone called an ambulance? Get the front gate open now to let the ambulance in. She has no patience for formality right now. A student is dying. What is there to be composed about? Her words hit the room like a thunderclap. Everyone's face changes color as they scramble back. Counselor Leo is completely frozen, standing alone in a daze. One thought looping in his head. This can't be happening. He just raised his voice a little. How did Mal end up like this because of him? President Dorian stands nearby, shaking from head to toe. He came in today ready for a cheerful media interview. Now everything has fallen apart. He presses his hands together and silently prays to every god he can think of. Please don't die, Mal. Please. Every administrator watches in tense silence as Dr. Vera performs CPR, sweat pouring down her face. But after 2 minutes, she stops. She shines a flashlight into my eyes, then checks my neck for a pulse. Then she looks up at President Dorian and slowly shakes her head. President Dorian feels an invisible hand close around his throat. The air in the room seems to freeze. His mind stalls completely. He can't react. Counselor Leo beside him wears the exact same expression. It's over. Everything is over. President Dorian, we should send the other students back to their rooms first. President Dorian finally snaps back, nodding blankly. Vice President Owen sighs. He can see that President Dorian has completely lost his composure. He turns to the other counselors. Get the students back to their rooms. President Dorian knows this cannot be kept quiet. The TV crew is still live streaming everything. The story, students scared to death by counselor over dorm hot pot, is about to go viral. President Dorian, the ambulance is here. President Dorian nods. He has nothing to say. Because in the state I'm in right now, going to the hospital feels like a waste of time. Might as well head straight to the morgue. And right as that thought crosses his mind, I open my eyes and draw a long, deep breath. Everyone is startled. President Dorian is so frightened that his legs give way, and he nearly collapses to the ground. I flash an awkward but polite smile. Oh, everyone is still here? Have you eaten? President Dorian is trembling with emotion. If it weren't broad daylight, he'd be convinced he just saw a ghost. His voice shakes. Mal, you're alive? I manage a weak smile. I'm not dead, but I wouldn't say I'm back either. My heart still really hurts. Before I finish speaking, Dr. Vera steps forward and tucks a fast-acting heart relief pill under my tongue. Mal, hang in there. The doctors are on their way. As she speaks, paramedics pour into the room and begin a quick assessment. Then they lift me onto a stretcher in one swift motion. President Dorian moves to follow without a second thought. A paramedic stops him. Are you a family member? No? I'm the university president. The paramedic gives him a skeptical look. A university president. Why does he look more panicked than a parent? What the paramedic doesn't know is that I literally just died once already. So every single administrator here is on the edge of a breakdown. Right now, I am their walking liability. Of course they're terrified. Others quickly back him up. That's right, he's the president of Agricultural University. You can look him up online. The paramedic nods. All right, you can ride along. But get his family notified immediately if surgery is needed. We'll need their signature. President Dorian is barely through the ambulance door when he hears my faint voice. Let Lena ride along too. I caught a glimpse of her press badge earlier. Honestly, having a camera pointed at me feels oddly reassuring. Lena has absolutely no intention of passing up footage this good. In the few minutes since I collapsed, the live stream has already crossed 30,000 viewers. Absolutely, we're filming every second of this. With Lena on board, I shift slightly on the stretcher and manage a weak smile toward the camera. Everyone stares in speechless disbelief. Damn it, you're on death's door and you're still playing to the camera? Seeing that camera, I genuinely feel at ease. The ambulance soon pulls out of campus, trailed by a convoy of over a dozen black sedans. The traffic officer posted at the intersection stares at the scene for a second, then hops on his motorcycle and hits the siren to clear a path. Every driver on the road pulls out their phone to capture the scene. What the hell kind of motorcade is this? There's gotta be some big shot in that ambulance. Meanwhile, inside the ambulance, I haven't even had a chance to say chat with Lena for the live stream effects, when my head tips to the side and I pass out again. My collapse terrifies the paramedic on board. He immediately hooks me up to every device available and injects me with a cardiac stimulant. Fortunately, after a quick check, the paramedic confirms I've only fainted. My breathing is faint but present. He exhales in relief, then then turns to Lena. Miss Lena, do you know what happened to him? He's asking to get a clearer picture of my condition so he can make a preliminary assessment and identify the cause faster. Lena nods. Yes, we were actually filming him when it happened. The paramedic presses her. Can you walk me through it? Lena thinks for a moment. We were walking through the men's dorm when we caught the smell of hot pot drifting from their room, so we went in. The female nurse beside floats a theory. Could something in the hot pot have triggered his cardiac event? A strong spice, maybe? Lena shakes her head. No, when we walked in, they were still mixing their dipping sauces. They hadn't touched the hot pot yet. Her words only makes the paramedic more confused. If food isn't the cause, then something must have triggered a severe emotional shock, which is enough to affect the heart. Lena's eyes light up like she just remembered something. Right before Mal collapsed, Counselor Leo was yelling at him, because Counselor Leo believed the four of them were violating dorm regulations by cooking hot pot, and he was disciplining them. I remember Counselor Leo jabbing his finger hard into Mal's chest 3 times, and demanding he write a self-criticism report. The moment she says that, every administrator watching the live stream breaks into a cold sweat, because if my collapse is genuinely linked to Counselor Leo's actions, he could be facing criminal charges. Sensing the paramedic's skepticism, Lena adds, we have the whole thing on video. The paramedic furrows his brow. Just being yelled at shouldn't be enough to trigger a cardiac event, should it? Lena thinks it over. On its own, maybe not, but Counselor Leo was extremely loud. Mal kept telling him to lower his voice. She signals her cameraman to pull up the footage, then holds out her phone for the paramedic to watch. The footage shows Counselor Leo furious, jabbing my chest 3 times, while I beg him to quiet down and tell him about my heart condition, only for him to keep going, until I shudder, clutch my chest, and drop. After watching the clip, the paramedic's mouth twitches. He finds this completely absurd. How is he supposed to write up the incident report for this? Student frightened into cardiac arrest by counselor's loud voice? That's ridiculous. Just then, I open my eyes again and regain consciousness. The paramedic leans in urgently. Mal, you're in critical condition. Please don't move. I give him a small smile. It's fine. I'm just adjusting my pillow. You guys keep talking. Don't mind me. I finish speaking, flash a heart gesture at the camera. Then my head tips sideways and I'm out again. The comment section erupts. He's so strong. He was literally just smiling at us. How much optimism does it take to smile through that kind of pain? A kid this good cannot just die like this. Share the stream, get more people watching. The live stream chat goes into a frenzy. Gifts pour in, shares multiply. Within minutes, the viewer count explodes from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. Watching the comments flood in, President Dorian's panic only deepens. He feels like he's about to have a heart attack himself. At this rate, today's events are going to trend nationwide. All he can do right now is pray that Mal holds on and doesn't die. With everyone holding their breath, the ambulance finally pulls up to the hospital. The receiving doctors at the entrance are caught off guard by the spectacle. Police escorts in front, a fleet of luxury sedans behind. Director Aldrich, who is standing at the entrance having a smoke, immediately stubs it out and jogs toward the ambulance. Clearly, this patient is going to need his personal attention. Get him on a stretcher. Alert the surgical team to stand by. Where's the paramedic? Someone brief me now. With Director Aldrich already moving, the senior professors and department heads all rush over too. A nurse who gets elbowed out of the way looks completely bewildered. Even the IV drip snatched right out of her hands by one of the senior doctors. A whole group of senior professors wheels me toward the emergency room. Lena and her cameraman follow close behind, capturing every moment. The moment Director Aldrich spots the camera crew, he is even more convinced this patient is definitely someone important. I'm rushed through the doors of the treatment room moments later. Without the doctor's permission, Lena and her cameraman can't follow inside, so they wait in the corridor. Lena, do we keep rolling? Her cameraman asks. We keep rolling. Lena's eyes are steady and certain. Illness and accidents are part of college life too. We can't only show the bright side, we need to show all of it. The cameraman nods to show he has received her message. Indeed, since they started following Mal, the viewer numbers have been climbing non-stop. The university administrators arrive shortly after. Where's Mal? He's in the treatment room. They're doing a full evaluation right now, Lena answers. After that, President Dorian begins pacing back and forth outside the door. When his wife was in labor, he was never even this anxious. Take a break, President Dorian, Vice President Owen says. President Dorian shakes his head. I'm not tired. What I mean is, watching you pace back and forth is exhausting us. President Dorian looks embarrassed and is just about to sit down, when Director Aldrich pushes the door open and steps out. Director Aldrich, how is Mal doing? Director Aldrich answers with full confidence. Relax, the kid's vitals are stable. Nothing too serious. Specialist doctors are running tests as we speak. The report will be ready soon. Hearing his words, everyone breathes a collective sigh of relief. After all, Director Aldrich is one of the top names in cardiology. His word carries weight. Just as President Dorian and Vice President Owen finally let themselves smile, the treatment room door bursts open. A nurse rushes out into panic, shouting at Director Aldrich. Director! The student's heart has stopped again. Director Aldrich sprints back in, completely baffled. A heart attack isn't a common cold. How can it strike twice in a row like this? Something is seriously wrong. He doesn't waste a second and charges back into the room to check on my condition. President Dorian's face instantly turns worried. Is Director Aldrich actually reliable? Didn't he just swear everything was fine? President Dorian, what do we do now? Counselor Leo can't sit still. He's just as panicked as President Dorian at this point. President Dorian pats him on the shoulder. Heaven watches over the good, Counselor Leo. Don't be too hard on yourself. Counselor Leo buries his face in his hands, tears streaming down. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have raised my voice. Half an hour later, Director Aldrich walks out of the emergency room looking visibly drained. Everyone swarms around him immediately. Director Aldrich, how is Mal? Director Aldrich pauses a while before speaking. Mal has blockages in all 3 arteries, but not simultaneously. They're intermittent, irregular, no pattern at all. He adds quickly, I know this defies everything in the medical textbooks, but that's the reality, and frankly, I'm at a loss myself. Hearing this, everyone suddenly understands why he looks so exhausted, because a single blocked artery is enough to put a normal person on the critical list. Yet Mal's 3 arteries are taking turns blocking like it's some kind of game. So Director Aldrich, does the hospital have a treatment plan for Mal yet? Director Aldrich nods. Given how unique and critical Mal's condition is, we just held an emergency consultation right there in the treatment room, and we all agreed. Mal needs coronary bypass surgery, immediately. Hearing this, the live stream erupts. Oh my god, this just got serious. They're going straight to bypass surgery. President Dorian speaks firmly. Director Aldrich, the university will cover every medical expense. Money is no object. Give Mal the best of everything. Don't skimp on anything. Director Aldrich lets out a bitter laugh. Skimp? You give me way too much credit. In the worst case scenario, all 3 arteries are blocked. That means we're not doing 1 bypass, we're doing 3, simultaneously. Everyone sharply inhales at once. Noticing President Dorian's worried expression, Director Aldrich adds reassuringly, Don't worry, President Dorian. Bypass surgery is major, yes, but the success rate is above 97%. In most cases, it goes smoothly. President Dorian exhales with relief. But the very next second, Director Aldrich's tone shifts. But Mal's blood oxygen saturation is dangerously low, under 70. The probability that he won't make it off the operating table is significant. President Dorian's mind goes blank. Director Aldrich, didn't you just say the success rate is 97%? How is he suddenly not making it off the table? Director Aldrich shifts awkwardly. The surgery itself does have a high success rate, but given Mal's current condition, I'm not sure he can hold on long enough for us to finish. Simply put, at around 70% blood oxygen, a person has roughly 1 day left. Below 40%, they basically have only about 3 hours left. Director Aldrich takes a form from the nurse and holds it out. If we proceed with surgery now, someone needs to sign this. Who's it going to be? Everyone stares at the form in silence. Signing it means taking full responsibility for whatever happens in that operating room. But Director Aldrich has made it clear, Mal's oxygen is dropping, and time is running out. If they wait for a family member to show up and sign, Mal might already be heading to the morgue. Every pair of eyes turns to President Dorian. The camera operator zooms in for a close-up of his face. I'll sign. President Dorian takes the pen. He signs without hesitation. Director Aldrich, please get Mal into surgery as soon as possible. With the signature secured, Director Aldrich wastes no words. He pulls on his mask and heads straight back in. But the moment he opens the door, a nurse's sharp cry pierces through. Director, the patient's blood oxygen is down to 20. What? 20? Are you damn kidding me? Director Aldrich rushes in and calls for surgery immediately. Outside the treatment room, dead silence. President Dorian's face is ashen. The hand that just signed the form won't stop shaking. The live stream fills with comments. Sparing a thought for President Dorian, ink barely dry and the patient is going die. Isn't it too early to call it? Director Aldrich hasn't given up yet. Bro, do you even know what blood oxygen at 20 means? By the time they finish prepping for bypass, the patient is already morgue bound. Such a good kid, scared to death just like that. Now the counselor and the president are done for too. Those two are probably looking at criminal charges. At that moment, the red light above the treatment room door switches on. The words "surgery in progress" burn bright. President Dorian presses his palms together and prays with everything he has. In his heart, he makes a vow. If Mal survives this, he will treat that boy like his own son. By midday, President Dorian is slumped in a corridor chair, looking like he has aged 10 years overnight. President Dorian, why don't you head back and rest? We'll keep watch here. Lena and her colleague have already taken shifts and gotten some sleep. But President Dorian and Counselor Leo have not moved from the door all night. Both look like they're about to bleed from the eyes. President Dorian shakes his head. We've held on this long. A little more won't kill us. Whatever the outcome, I want to hear it myself. Hearing this, viewers in the live stream are moved. If only things had been different from the start. If he had just spoken properly to his students, it wouldn't have ended up like this. To be fair, it can't really blame the counselor though, can it? Who would ever think raising your voice could trigger a heart attack? I bet our teachers are watching this stream too. My professor's voice was noticeably quieter this morning. This guy single-handedly made every teacher in the country speak softly. Absolute legend. Wait, the surgery's been going on for over 10 hours, right? That long? Is he already gone cold? No way. If he'd gone cold, they would have wheeled him out already. The longer the surgery runs, the better the sign. That comment has barely scrolled past when the treatment room doors swing open. Director Aldrich and a group of senior professors come out wiping sweat from their foreheads, already rushing toward the office. President Dorian and the others jump to their feet, but the group walks right past them as if they aren't even there, buzzing with excitement. I have never seen anything like this in my entire career. Good thing I recorded the whole surgery. I'm going straight home to write the paper. Nobody touched my data. Nonsense. We all did that surgery together. Why should you get sole credit for the findings? Exactly. If my bypass technique wasn't so precise, do you think his oxygen levels would have recovered that fast? Oh, stop bragging. His oxygen should have killed him long ago. The reason he survived has nothing to do with your speed. There's something else going on entirely. Watching the professors disappear down the hall, President Dorian rushes forward and catches Director Aldrich. Director Aldrich, what's the situation? Did the surgery succeed? Director Aldrich slaps his forehead and breaks into a grin. Relax. The surgery was a complete success. That kid is unbelievably lucky. There were multiple crises during the operation. Every time we thought it was over for him, he just pushed through. Lena realizes this is gold for the stream. She steps forward immediately to press for details. Director Aldrich, can you walk us through exactly what went wrong during the surgery? Of course. Director Aldrich lights up as he begins. The moment President Dorian signed that form, Mal's blood oxygen dropped to 20%. Humans need oxygen to survive. So do our organs. Below 20%, every organ in the body is essentially suffocating. That kind of oxygen deprivation causes irreversible damage. If it keeps dropping, the body shuts down, and brain death follows. Honestly, when Mal hit 20, we had already written off any chance of getting him onto the operating table. But he held on, at 20% blood oxygen, all the way until we completed the first bypass graft. That is beyond rare. That is a world first. Seeing Director Aldrich still this animated after more than 10 hours in the operating room, everyone finally grasps just how extraordinary it is that Mal survived long enough to even reach the table. Gifts flood the live stream. He survived at 20 blood oxygen? Is this guy even human? No wonder those professors are losing their minds. For anyone in medicine, this case is a once-in-a-lifetime find. That surgery was basically snatching someone straight out of the Grim Reaper's hands. Grim Reaper, request to take one college student withdrawn. His ancestors must be working overtime down there pulling every string they have. Probably burned through centuries worth of good karma. Ancestors. He's the only college graduate in the entire family line. He absolutely cannot die. So this is the modern college student. Fragile, but unkillable. Watching the viewer count spike by another 30,000. Lena is absolutely thrilled. Director Aldrich, aside from the low blood oxygen, were there any other complications during the surgery? Oh, far too many to count. Director Aldrich starts ticking them off on his fingers. Simultaneous arterial spasms, ventricular fibrillation, cardiac arrest, arrhythmia. In this surgery, Mal gave our entire cardiothoracic team more to talk about than a decade of normal cases. He presented every complication practically by the textbook. Incredible clinical value. Lena listens with wide eyes, genuinely unsure whether to congratulate Director Aldrich or feel sorry for Mal. Poor kid. All he wanted was a hot pot dinner in his dorm room. Look how that turned out. President Dorian doesn't care about the details. He only cares about one thing. He asked with barely contained anxiety. Director Aldrich, just tell me straight, is Mal's heart condition cured? Director Aldrich nods. Here's where it gets strange. Once we completed all 3 bypasses, his arteries stopped blocking entirely. And according to the latest test results, Mal's heart is now stronger than a professional athlete's. That's the part none of us can explain. And exactly why those professors ran straight to their offices to write papers instead of sleeping. If we can figure out why Mal's heart became this powerful, it could be a landmark breakthrough for cardiac medicine. Hearing this, President Dorian can barely believe what he's hearing. This is insane. Absolutely insane. One shout from a counselor sends him to the emergency room, and now you're telling me his heart is stronger than a professional athlete's? You've got to be kidding me. Viewers in the live stream are equally stunned. No way. A heart that just came out of surgery is stronger than a normal person's? If anyone else said that, I'd call it nonsense, but this is Director Aldrich we're talking about. Right, and look at those professors' faces. Nobody is acting. This surgery was genuinely something else. His ancestors must hold serious rank in the underworld. Nothing else explains this luck. Is this what they call a blessing in disguise? Unbelievable. Wait, does anyone else hear that? It sounds like a drumbeat. Not just the viewers, President Dorian and everyone in the hallway hears it too. They turn toward the source of the sound. A nurse is wheeling me out of the treatment room. That drumbeat is my heartbeat. The anesthesia hasn't worn off, so I'm still unconscious. But my heartbeat rings out, powerful and unmistakable. Everyone falls silent. Who could have imagined that this thundering heartbeat belongs to someone who nearly died of heart failure just hours ago? The live stream loses its composure. Is that heartbeat for real? That's way too loud. Are we sure that's not a sound effect? When reality outtrolls the internet, it hits different. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and he took that literally. I'm having heart surgery tomorrow. I hope I come out of it like Mal. I owe Director Aldrich an apology. I doubted him earlier. I was wrong. If she hadn't witnessed it herself, even Lena would have found it hard to believe that heartbeat was coming from I. It is so intense, like my heart is trying to break free from my chest. So strong it seems to resonate with everyone around him. Director Aldrich, is everything really all right? President Dorian asks, still looking worried. Before he was afraid my heart would stop. Now he's afraid it might go out of control. After all, he's the one who signed that form. If anything goes wrong with me, it falls on him. Director Aldrich rubs his temples, exhaustion finally showing. I know what you're all worried about, but trust me, we ran every check possible. Mal is perfectly healthy right now. Now go home and sleep, all of you. If I don't rest soon, I'll be the next cardiac case. Director Aldrich signals the nurse to wheel me back to my room. Meanwhile, at the city television station headquarters, in the main conference room, Director Vance sits through back-to-back program reports from his producers. He flips through the weekly performance data for each show. With every page, his expression gets darker. Hold on. Director Vance cuts off the producer mid-sentence. He drops the question like a hammer. What is the average live viewership for your show? The producer shrinks back slightly. 500. Hearing this number, Director Vance lets out a sharp, humorless laugh. Chasing flavors, factoring in everyone's salaries, cost this station tens of thousands a week. And you're telling me the average daily live audience is 500 people? The producer says nothing, taking the hit in silence. Everyone else drops their gaze, some interested in their tea, others staring into the distance. As long as Director Vance isn't calling their name, it's not their problem. That show is cancelled. Wrap it up after the next episode. The producer panics. Please, Director Vance, give us one more chance, one more month. We'll turn a profit next month, I promise. Director Vance gives a cold snort and takes a slow sip of tea. Everyone else quietly accepts it. Director Vance has made up his mind. That show is finished. Noticing the low energy around the table, Director Vance puts it plainly. Don't let the size of our station fool you. Money is bleeding out from every direction. We run over 40 programs. Maybe 2 or 3 are actually profitable. The rest are all running at a loss. If this keeps up, we're all out of a job, and this station shuts down. No one argues. They all understand. If the station sinks, they all go down with it. But the reality is their program simply can't compete with short-form video. What can anyone do about that? Just as Director Vance is getting a headache on all of this, his eye catches something on a document in front of him. Campus Chronicles production team, requesting 2 dedicated camera operators and 2 company vehicles. Director Vance frowns. He knows Campus Chronicles gets decent feedback, but it's still losing money. Besides, it's just a show about campus life. Why on earth do they need 2 extra camera operators? He's about to reject the request when he notices the live viewership data for Campus Chronicles from the past 2 days. He inhales sharply. His voice pitches up. Peak viewership 210,000, average live audience 140,000, stream revenue 23,000. These numbers stand out like a beacon compared to every other show on the roster. And this is only 2 days worth. What would a full week look like? What is going on? How did the show's numbers explode overnight? Director Vance grabs his phone immediately. He pulls up the edited clips from the show. It doesn't take long before the picture becomes clear. The reason the show went viral comes down to one person, a college student named Mal. Director Vance reads through Lena's request form. Lena believes Mal is exceptional live content and wants a dedicated crew to follow him and document his daily life. Director Vance furrows his brow, hesitating. After all, Mal's fame is sudden and accidental. Getting a heart attack scared out of you during a dorm hot pot is a great story, but illness is a one-time event. Following someone long-term on that basis alone doesn't seem worth the investment. He looks at the numbers one more time, then he grits his teeth and signs the request form. Take a gamble. What if it pays off? Meanwhile, in a private hospital room, I'm sitting up in bed being hand-fed by a nurse. I've insisted more than once that I'm perfectly fine now. But under the firm insistence of President Dorian and Director Aldrich, I'm living the full hands-free, mouth-open lifestyle. Mal, are you really not feeling anything unusual? Lena sits right beside me, microphone in hand, every inch the professional. This morning, Director Vance approved her request. From now on, 3 camera operators follow me full-time, and the live stream runs 24 hours a day. All of this has been agreed to by me personally, including negotiations over livestream gift revenue and other details. Thanks for asking, Miss Lena. I genuinely feel a lot better. My heart doesn't hurt anymore, and I feel light as air. From the moment I woke up, I could feel it. My heart is different now. It is stronger. After all, the heart is the body's central engine, pumping blood to every corner like the engine of a race car. And right now, my heart is probably the strongest heart on the planet. How could I not feel incredible? But before I can enjoy it for long, the system chime rings in my head again. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have successfully survived one disease and earned 200 fake coins. A new disease has been prepared for you. Please make your selection. My expression drops instantly. Damn it. This cursed system just never stops. What the hell, does it have an auto matchmaking function? Does it think this is a ranked game? Swallowing the urge to curse the system out loud, I take a careful look at the options on offer. This time, the system presents 3 choices. Poisoning, fracture, sudden cardiac death. I go quiet. I've already been through sudden cardiac death. Honestly, it was brutal, even knowing it won't actually kill me. But the pain doesn't get reduced by even a fraction. The feeling of a heart attack happening over and over, that's not something I'm ready to revisit anytime soon. A fracture sounds manageable, but I've sprained my ankle before, and I know that kind of pain is no joke either. Maybe poisoning is the way to go. A fast-acting one ideally, at least it would be quick. Host has made a selection. Next disease, poisoning. That's it? I stare in disbelief. I at least expected the system to tell me what kind of poisoning, so I could mentally prepare myself. And this counts as a notification? Mal, are you alright? Noticing my expression, Lena assumes my heart is acting up again. I force a wry smile and shake my head. I'm fine, just thought of something a little unpleasant. The words are barely out of my mouth when the door opens and President Dorian walks in with a group of school administrators. Mal, how are you feeling? I sit up quickly, smiling. Thank you for coming, I'm feeling much better. By the way, President Dorian, I heard the school covered my surgery costs. I really should. Before I can finish, President Dorian waves it off. Mal, this happened because the school failed in its duty. That's on us. Every single medical expense will be fully covered by the university. You don't need to worry about a single cent. And this, please accept it. It's a small gesture from all of us. Right in front of the camera, President Dorian places 50,000 yuan in cash directly into my hands. I'm stunned. President Dorian, this is way too generous. Before I can refuse, President Dorian speaks firmly. This 50,000 is a collective contribution from the faculty and staff for your recovery. Focus on getting better, Mal. Don't worry about anything on campus. I'll handle it all. The moment those words land, the live stream fills with envy. This guy just hit the jackpot, a total blessing in disguise. We all thought he was done for, making an enemy of his counselor on day 1. And now the university president is standing guard over him. Unbelievable. You're all just jealous. He traded his life for this. Literally died once for the school. A few privileges from the president is the least he deserves. As long as he doesn't do anything completely over the line, the president will probably look the other way from now on. I didn't expect that getting sick would bring me an unexpected bonus. President Dorian is the university president after all. Most students never cross paths with him more than once or twice before graduation, let alone receiving personal attention from him. I read the room perfectly and respond with genuine sounding emotion. Don't worry, President Dorian. I will study hard and live up to everyone's expectations. I'll become someone worthy of this school and this society. The tone of the room just shifted completely. Lena stands to the side, thoroughly confused. This is supposed to be a casual campus live stream, but now with the handshake and the emotional speech, it feels less like a student documentary and more like a government official visiting the underprivileged. After the pleasantries with the school leadership wind down, Counselor Leo finally appears. He approaches my bedside and breaks into tears. I'm so sorry, Mal, this is entirely my fault. I should never have raised my voice at you. I promise. From now on, I will always speak quietly. I will never make the same mistake again. Sitting on the hospital bed, I'm dumbfounded. Was that a mosquito? Lena is equally baffled. Did Counselor Leo just say something? President Dorian clears his throat awkwardly. Counselor Leo, you can speak a little louder, it's alright. Counselor Leo nods, and his lips keep moving. But once again, nobody can make out a single word. The live stream erupts in laughter. He's traumatized for life. Almost ended up in prison over this. Anyone would be terrified. I seriously thought my headphones were broken. Counselor Leo is something else, man. This guy can basically do whatever he wants on campus from now on. The president has his back, and the counselor is going to treat him like a walking liability he has to keep alive. I couldn't hear a word Counselor Leo said, but the general idea isn't hard to figure out. I still save face for him and take the initiative to shake his hand, saying I share some blame too. That he was just doing his job and I understand. Then I slip in a quiet word. By the way, Counselor Leo, the hot pot was entirely my idea. My roommates had nothing to do with it. About those disciplinary notices. Before Counselor Leo can respond, President Dorian steps right in. College students wanting a decent meal is completely understandable. In fact, choosing to cook in your dorm rather than spending money outside shows admirable frugality and a hardworking spirit. Cooking your own hot pot instead of paying restaurant prices, that is a virtue. I genuinely admire that. So I've decided the university canteen will be adding a new hot pot station. Whenever you want hot pot, go to the canteen. No more high wattage appliances in the dorms. As for the disciplinary notices, consider them cancelled. But don't let it happen again. I give President Dorian a genuine thumbs up. No wonder this man is a university president. He upholds the rule against high wattage appliances in the dorms, while using the most dignified reasoning imaginable to wipe out the disciplinary notices entirely. Masterful. Absolutely masterful. Rest up, Mal. We'll head back to campus now. Oh, and let's exchange contacts. Anything you need going forward, just message me directly. President Dorian's move sends the live stream into shock. No way. This keeps getting more unreal. The president's personally exchanging contacts with a student. Are you serious? The president and this kid have been through life and death together. Swapping contacts is the least of it. Contacts exchange. President Dorian leads the school administrators out in a sweep. Before I can even exhale, Director Aldrich walks back in with the same group of senior professors. He is beaming, looking at me the way someone looks at a rare treasure. Mal, we came to check on you. How are you feeling? Before I can answer, the professors already have their stethoscopes out and are getting to work. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Are you serious with this politeness? Just listen to that heartbeat, so powerful. And look at this wound, it's healing so fast. One of the senior professors even grabs my wrist to take my pulse. After all my years studying traditional medicine, I have never felt a pulse this strong. I let out a helpless sigh. Another one has lost it. The other professors swarm in at once. I desperately call out, Director Aldrich, are you really just going to stand there? I'm getting overwhelmed here. Hearing this, Director Aldrich finally strolls over with a grin and starts ushering the professors out. All right, Mal is still recovering. Stop crowding him like that, you'll give the poor kid a fright. Having missed her chance to feel my heartbeat firsthand, a female professor pushes up her thick-framed glasses with a look of pure disappointment. Everyone out. I'd like to have a word with Mal. The professors shuffle out reluctantly, each one looking back every few steps. Director Aldrich, just say whatever you need to say, I can take it. Seeing my serious expression, Director Aldrich laughs. Relax, I'm not here to hand you a critical condition notice. I'm here because your body is unlike anyone else's. Have you noticed? My heart sinks. Oh no, they've figured it out. They're not going to slice me open and study me, are they? But Director Aldrich's expression is completely serious. I have never encountered a patient with a constitution like yours. Every single reading is terrible. You hover right on the edge of death, and yet you simply refuse to die. On top of that, your body's self-healing ability is remarkable. Your wounds close faster than anything I've ever seen. Everything that has happened to you so far can only be described as a series of medical miracles. For those of us in medicine, a patient like you is like a hidden treasure, absolutely worth studying. I keep the smile on my face, but inside I'm already squirming. As if reading my thoughts, Director Aldrich reassures me. Mal, there's no need to be nervous. This is a legitimate hospital and I am a legitimate doctor. I would never put your life at risk. I'm here today to propose an agreement between you and the hospital. Take a look first. He pulls a document from his bag and hands it over. I flip through a few pages, genuinely surprised. All I have to do is come in for regular checkups and I get paid research bonuses? That's correct. Director Aldrich nods with a smile. And going forward, any medical treatment at our hospital will be automatically discounted by 80%, including the portion your insurance doesn't cover. This agreement means everything to me, because this damn system only ever delivers disease and suffering, never money. The school covered the heart surgery costs this time, but what about the next illness? That's what worries me most. The thought of dying simply because I can't afford treatment. Now that would be a tragic joke. So this 80% discount written into the agreement is nothing short of a lifeline. Director Aldrich, you're absolutely sure you won't slice me up, right? Director Aldrich bursts out laughing. Oh, I'd love to, but the law won't allow it. Sign with confidence. You've got a camera crew following you around the clock. Do you really think I'd try anything? I nod and sign my name on the agreement. 2 copies, one for each of us. Before leaving, Director Aldrich pulls out his phone. Let's exchange contacts. Next time you need to come in, just message me ahead of time and I'll handle everything. The moment he says this, the live stream goes wild. Good lord, that's the director of the city hospital. The man who snatches people straight from the Grim Reaper's hands. This guy's really moving up in the world. One illness, and he's got both the university president and the hospital director in his corner. You think anyone can pull this off? Didn't you hear Director Aldrich? It's because Mal's constitution is so unusual that he's getting this kind of treatment. Special all right, especially fragile. Never mind fragile, just admit he's special. Fragile but unkillable, I hereby name him Crunch Shark. I'm idly scrolling through the live stream comments myself, and when I spot the name Crunch Shark, I'd burst out laughing and immediately change my username to Crunch Shark. A week later, I'm discharged from the hospital, back to attending classes, studying, and living like a normal student. Within the week, I'm indistinguishable from any other student, as if the person who had a heart attack was someone else entirely. Lena and her crew have been following me for a full week, but the viewership isn't climbing, it's actually dropping. The whole team is getting anxious. If the numbers keep falling, it means my moment in the spotlight is over, and they'll have no choice but to drop me and find something else to cover. Lena, do we keep filming? The cameraman John asks as he gets ready to hand off his shift. Lena glances over at me wandering ahead through the campus and grits her teeth. We keep filming until the station tells us to stop. We don't stop. Her instincts as a journalist tell her that sticking with me will pay off. And just as she thinks this, I suddenly crouch low and dart into the bushes like I'm up to something. Lena freezes, completely baffled. John rushes after me and catches it on camera. I'm digging at the ground with my bare hands, buzzing with excitement. Mal, what are you digging for? I grin. Something good. You'll see once I get it out. It's clear that I'm thrilled. I keep muttering as I dig. No wonder it's agricultural university. I never thought I'd stumble across something this valuable just growing in the bushes. Lucky I've got sharp eyes, I almost walked right past it. What a find! And just like that, I pull it free from the ground. Before anyone can get a close-up shot, I whip out a black plastic bag I'd already prepared, stuff the thing inside, and wrap it up tight. Then I jog straight back to the dorm. Seeing this, the livestream viewers are stunned. Why does he look so practiced at this? You can tell this definitely isn't his first time. Those moves were so smooth, one clean motion start to finish. Camera crew, keep up. I need to know what he just dug up. Watching the viewer count tick back up, Lena and John are suddenly full of energy and break into a jog to keep up with me. Back in the dorm, I close the door immediately. Rex, lying on his bed, scrolling through his phone, glances up. What's going on, Mal? Still catching my breath from the jog, I pull out the black plastic bag and unwrap it layer by layer. Hey, check out what I just found on campus. Rex stares at what's in my hand and scratches his head. What is that? I roll my eyes. Ginseng. Wild ginseng, if I had to guess. There's ginseng growing on campus? Rex's eyes go wide. Viewers in the live stream are just as curious. Genuine question, can ginseng actually grow on a university campus? Ginseng isn't picky about where it grows, so technically it can pop up anywhere, but finding it in campus bushes? That's wild. I'm calling scripted. Bro, this is agricultural university. Anything is possible. Fair point, depends on whether any upperclassmen have a ginseng research project. Someone might have planted it in the bushes as a shortcut and Mal just stumbled onto it. Haha. Reminds me of that story where a freshman picked some vegetables from the field to eat, and it turned out to be a senior's year-long research project. Moment of silence for that senior. At Lena's signal, John moves in close and gets a tight close-up shot of the thing. And honestly, it really does look exactly like ginseng. I carry it over to the sink with a grin and rinse off the dirt. Once it's clean, it looks even more convincing. Rex sits up on his bed. That kind of ginseng must be worth a lot, right? I remember my dad bought one of these as a gift last year. Tens of thousands for a single root. I explain. It really depends on the variety. Farm ginseng won't run you that much. But if it's wild ginseng, now that's a beautiful price tag. Rex's eyes light up. So you just hit the jackpot? I grin. Nothing major, just a little windfall. As I say this, I pull a small knife out of the drawer. Rex immediately panics and tries to stop me. What are you doing? That thing is worth tens of thousands, you're going to eat it? I give him a speechless look. Have some ambition. When you find something good, of course you enjoy it yourself first. I'm not going to cut the whole thing up though. Just a few of the root hairs to steep in hot water. It's good for health. Rex immediately goes to grab his cup without another word. I carefully trim off a small portion of the root hairs. The kind of care you'd give to slicing a gold bar. Then I drop them into both cups and pour in boiling water. As the root hairs swirl and steep in the hot water, a faint, clean fragrance drifts up from the cups. I lean in and take a sniff. My face melts into pure satisfaction. This is wild ginseng, all right. The aroma is something else. Something this good, just breathing it in is probably enough to add years to your life. Ha ha. Come on, Rex, cheers. I clink my cup against his. Just as we're about to drink, Counselor Leo knocks on the door. What are you two up to? The moment Counselor Leo steps in, Rex thrusts a cup at him. Counselor Leo, Mal dug up some wild ginseng from the bushes. We're steeping it right now. The aroma is incredible. You should try some. Ever since the incident with my heart attack, Counselor Leo has become the gentlest counselor on campus. Therefore, he's become genuinely popular in the dorm, which is exactly why Rex always thinks to share the good stuff with him first. Counselor Leo takes the cup and glances over at me with a smile. Mal, you've got some luck on you finding ginseng in the campus bushes of all places? I just grin and say nothing. Lena seizes the moment. Counselor Leo, can ginseng really grow in the bushes here at Agricultural University? Counselor Leo nods. Yes, after all, this is Agricultural University. Most of our programs involve cultivating and grafting crops in some way. We do have proper research fields, but they're far from the dorms. Some students cut corners and plant their research subjects in the nearby bushes so they can sneak out and check on them easily. Officially, the school prohibits this, of course. After all, the growing conditions are completely different from the research fields. It's usually freshmen who pull this kind of stunt. In the past, we'd find the occasional vegetable or piece of fruit growing in the bushes. But ginseng? That's genuinely strange. After his explanation, the livestream audience is suddenly very interested. Agricultural University sounds way more fun than I thought. My farmer genes are activated. What are the admission score requirements? Honestly, Agricultural University sounds like a solid choice. The work environment after graduation is pretty straightforward. No office politics to deal with. Welcome everyone, come study with us. Farming and cultivation experiments are way more fun than you'd think. Imagine growing tomatoes the size of your head. Lena is surprised to see the viewer count actually climbing. It seems people are genuinely curious about life at Agricultural University. They just got sidetracked by everything that happened with me. Lena isn't about to waste this opportunity. She starts actively asking Counselor Leo questions about life at Agricultural University. Counselor Leo knows this is a good opportunity to promote the university and starts talking freely. Just as he's really hitting his stride, Rex's voice cuts through. Mal, why did you fall asleep with your clothes on? Get up, at least take your shoes off. Counselor Leo turns around to find me lying on my bed, cheeks flushed, a peaceful smile on my face, looking completely relaxed. He chuckles. The joys of being young, Ooh can just hit the pillow and fall right asleep. He raises his cup and is about to take a sip. At that moment, his eyes land on the root sitting on the desk and his hand instantly freezes. The color drains from his face. Rex, where did you get this? Rex shrugs, completely unbothered. That's the wild ginseng Mal dug up. Honestly, something this valuable and he just leaves it sitting on the desk after steeping it. What if someone took it? Counselor Leo shouts the moment Rex reaches for it. Don't touch it! Everyone jumps. Rex stares at him, confused. What's wrong, Counselor Leo? Counselor Leo stares at the cup in his trembling hands, where a thin strand no thicker than a pinky finger is still swirling around in the water. He looks at the empty cup on the desk, his expression growing more horrified by the second. Don't tell me what was steeping in those cups was this thing. Rex nods. Yeah. Counselor Leo nearly loses his mind. Mal just finished a whole cup. He said it was too precious to waste, so he drank it all, water, root hairs, and everything. What? Counselor Leo lets out a sharp cry, barely holding it together. You can't eat this thing! Is he trying to die? He whips out his phone and calls Dr. Vera immediately, quickly laying out the situation. Dr. Vera nearly explodes. Then why the hell are you calling me? Call emergency services. Even as she says it, she's already grabbing her medical kit and sprinting toward the boys' dorm. Mal dug up wild ginseng from the bushes, drank it as tea, and is dying. The moment this post hits the campus forum, the entire leadership of Agricultural University goes on full alert. Phones ring off the hook in every administrator's office. More chaotic than a military command center. President Dorian hands the Education Bureau's inquiries off to Vice President Owen, and sprints toward the boys' dorm without even stopping to grab his jacket. By the time President Dorian arrives, I'm already being loaded onto the ambulance. Counselor Leo, what on earth happened? President Dorian feels like he's losing his mind. It's only been a few days, how is there already another crisis? Counselor Leo is too shaken to speak, stumbling over his words. President Dorian, let's talk in the car, come with us. This time, Lena and John can't get on the ambulance. Word got out that it's Mal who's been poisoned, and a crowd of medical specialists has already claimed every available seat. With President Dorian and Counselor Leo loaded into her car, Lena feels a surge of excitement she can barely contain. The viewership has been sliding for days, and the whole crew has been on edge. She'd almost written me off as yesterday's news, and then I go and pull a stunt like this. She's genuinely moved. This guy really comes through when it counts. Once they're in the car, Counselor Leo manages to collect himself slightly. President Dorian speaks first. What happened? Why did Mal collapse again? Counselor Leo manages a smile that looks worse than crying. President Dorian, Mal didn't collapse this time. He's been poisoned. Poisoned? President Dorian frowns. Food poisoning? That can't be right. I eat 3 meals a day in the canteen and I'm perfectly fine. Counselor Leo continues. On his way back to the dorm, Mal ducked into the bushes and dug something up. He thought it was ginseng, brought it back, steeped it and drank it, and that's what poisoned him. President Dorian's stomach drops. What? Counselor Leo reaches into his pocket, pulls out the black plastic bag and opens it for him to see. President Dorian goes completely white. That's ginseng? That's phytolacca root. His heart sinks completely. This was dug up from their own campus grounds. What does that say? It says their school has a serious management gap. Lena still hasn't grasped how serious this is. President Dorian, what is phytolacca root? Is it toxic? President Dorian is quiet for a long moment. Let me put it this way. In the ancient legend of Shenong, who tasted every plant in existence, this was the last one he ever tasted. Everyone in the car inhales sharply. None of them expected the backstory on this plant to be quite so dramatic. The live stream erupts. That's our Mal going straight for hell difficulty. I just looked it up. Phytolacca root is severely toxic. More than 7 grams can be fatal. What Mal swallowed must have been way over that limit, right? Absolutely over the limit. He steeped it first, which fully releases the toxins, then drank it all. Complete absorption. No wonder Counselor Leo looked like he'd seen a ghost. How is that any different from drinking straight pesticide? And what about President Dorian? Like his face looks any better right now. The way you're all talking, is Mal actually gone this time? Don't panic. Have faith in Mal, he survived a full-blown heart attack. A little phytolacca root is nothing. The ambulance pulls up to the hospital, where Director Aldrich is already waiting with department heads from every ward. The moment I'm lifted off the stretcher, the senior professors immediately take over from the nurses. Where's the school doctor? What's the situation this time? Dr. Vera jogs up to Director Aldrich and reports with full deference. Director Aldrich, Mal ingested phytolacca root by mistake. The moment she says it, every doctor present does a double take. Phytolacca root accidentally? Only Director Aldrich keeps his composure. How much did he ingest? Dr. Vera holds up her pinky finger as a reference. Approximately 15 grams. Director Aldrich spins the gurney around himself and barks the order. Straight to the resuscitation room. Get emergency and internal medicine ready to move. His single command sends the entire floor into motion, chaotic as a battlefield. Then without warning, I vomit a massive mouthful of dark blood, instantly soaking the front of my shirt. The sight of it makes everyone recoil. Director, the patient is vomiting blood clots. Director Aldrich's heart sinks. Vomiting blood is one thing, but clots? Does that mean the organs are already shutting down? Director, patient's heart rate has dropped to 43. Director, blood oxygen saturation is down to 35. The bad news keeps coming. Every one of my vital signs is in freefall. It's only now that Director Aldrich realizes my powerful heart means my blood circulates far faster than a normal person's, which means the toxins are spreading through my body at a rate that would make an ordinary case look slow. For the first time, Director Aldrich doesn't know where to begin. Mal's readings are too far gone. We can't hold the line like this. Gastric lavage immediately and get an IV line in now. The resuscitation room doors slam shut, but the image of an entire medical team in a frenzy is already burned into everyone's memory. The live stream mood darkens noticeably. This one feels serious. Did you see that blood? That was terrifying. It's the plant that finished off Shenong himself. What did anyone expect? I used to work in a hospital. Honestly, with most toxins, once they spread through the body, you're at the mercy of fate. The basic approach is to flush out whatever hasn't been absorbed yet. If it's already in the bloodstream, all you can do is hope your immune system handles it. It's that bad? I thought once you got to a hospital they could just give you an antidote. You've watched too many dramas. Poison is one of the most brutal things out there. Most of the time there is no specific antidote. Look up Declorvos sometime. That stuff is genuinely beyond saving. And the worst part is it gives you time to regret it without giving you any chance to act on it. The live stream viewership spikes to 300,000. A new record. But this time, Lena and the crew aren't feeling the excitement they expected. They'd initially assumed it was minor. Get me to the hospital and everything would be fine. Now they understand how serious it actually is. Even more dangerous than the heart attack. They want the viewership, but not like this. Not off someone suffering. Counselor Leo and President Dorian are carrying the same weight. Counselor Leo in particular, his eyes are so swollen from crying they're barely open. This used to be a powerfully built, iron-willed man. And yet within just a few days I've nearly driven him to the edge. He really has it rough. 3 hours later, the resuscitation room doors open and I'm wheeled out. President Dorian and Counselor Leo rush over immediately. How is he, Director Aldrich? Director Aldrich smiles. The procedure was a complete success. All toxins have been fully cleared from Mal's system. All he needs now is some rest. Hearing this, everyone exhales at once. Then they all stare at me with the same odd expression. That was severely toxic phytolacca root. He steeped it and drank it and he's still alive? This makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. The live stream is equally stunned. No way. I was sure he was done for. How is he okay? 3 full hours of emergency treatment and you're calling that okay? This guy is something else. In and out of hospital every few days with serious conditions every time. Whatever he did in a past life, he's really paying for it. Fragile but unkillable. His ancestors must have connections with every single judge in the underworld. Ancestors. He's the first college student in 18 generations of our family. He absolutely cannot die. Reading through the comments, Lena finally laughs out loud. Even though my poisoning was a genuinely terrible accident, watching the comment section go wild has somehow eased her nerves. Of course she hasn't forgotten her job. Once I'm wheeled into the ward, she steps up immediately. Mal, how are you feeling right now? I smile at the camera. I feel great actually. Slept really well. Everyone stares at my grinning face with complete disbelief. You have no idea you just walked to the edge of death and back, do you? You think you were just taking a nap? Lena gently breaks it to me. Mal, what you dug up from the bushes wasn't ginseng, it was phytolacca root, severely toxic. I respond casually, completely unbothered. Really? So it wasn't ginseng after all? Well, it was great for sleep, best rest I've had in a long time, honestly. Lena is speechless again. How does she even interview someone like this? He refuses to follow the script. She had planned to guide me toward a moment of reflection, get me to acknowledge how serious it was, and say something like, I really regret it. Finally, she gets serious and offers a proper piece of advice, reminding netizens not to just shove anything they see into their mouths. However, I have zero regrets, and I'm calling the deadly plant a great sleep aid. Lena, are you okay? Do you have a stomachache? Lena waves it off. No, I just thought of something unpleasant. Mal, just lie back and rest. The doctor says you need to rest. Okay. I comply without hesitation, lying back and closing my eyes. I look like I've fallen asleep, but inside I'm buzzing. I never expected the poisoning task to be this straightforward. I had mentally braced myself for agony. Instead, I just felt a little drowsy. Lay down, closed my eyes, and when I opened them again, it was done. No wonder ancient emperors called poison a granted death. Going out that way really is far less painful than most alternatives. Mal, are you resting? Can I get you something to eat? I can order delivery. I opened my eyes to find President Dorian and Counselor Leo standing at my bedside. The once iron-tough Counselor Leo has eyes so swollen from crying he looks like a completely different person. President Dorian, once so full of energy, now has visible gray at his temples and looks years older. I feel a pang of guilt. I'm sorry, President Dorian, I've gone and done it again. President Dorian cuts me off with a wave. Mal, what are you saying? You haven't let us down. If anything, we've let you down. I blink. Huh? President Dorian beckons, and Counselor Leo immediately produces a thick envelope and a certificate. Right in front of the camera, President Dorian places both the envelope and the certificate into my hands. Mal, if it weren't for you, we would never have discovered such a serious gap in the school's management. Planting herbs and plants in the campus bushes has been prohibited time and again, and yet so many students still treated it as a non-issue. But after your poisoning, I immediately mobilized the entire faculty and staff for an emergency safety awareness campaign across the school. Mal, the impact has been remarkable. Fine, so I accidentally eat Phytolacca root and the school turns me into #1 example of what not to do. I look down at the certificate. It reads, fearless in the face of danger, tested the poison with his own body. Even with my thick skin, I feel my face go hot. How embarrassing. I accidentally poisoned myself out of sheer curiosity, and now, with President Dorian's spin, I'm somehow a contributor to the school's safety culture. President Dorian, I really don't deserve this award. Nonsense. What do you mean you don't deserve it? President Dorian says with complete conviction. If you hadn't put your life on the line as a warning to every student on this campus, who knows how long this dangerous habit would have continued. Mal, don't worry about a thing for now. Just rest and recover. The school will cover every expense. Now that's what I like to hear. With those words I can relax. Looks like my medical bills are covered again. Just as I think President Dorian is wrapping up and heading out, his eyes suddenly go red, and tears start rolling down his face. The sudden shift leaves everyone stunned. What is he doing now? He places a hand on my shoulder and speaks directly to the camera with deep emotion. What many of you may not know, Mal is an orphan. He studied with everything he had and earned his way out of a welfare institution entirely on his own. I only found out this morning from the records office. Mal, from this day forward, Agricultural University is your home, and I am your elder. I really have nothing to say. He's even more shameless than I gave him credit for. I've barely been in this hospital a day and he's already building a PR campaign around me. As expected, experience always wins. No, I need to find a way to get something out of this. I'm not letting him use me for free. I'm calculating my next move, but to Lena, it must look like I've sunk into quiet sadness. Her nose stings and she covers her mouth, tearing up. Such a poor kid, not only fragile and constantly ill, but an orphan on top of it all. The live stream comments section detonates. The rope always snaps at the thinnest part. Misfortune always finds the ones who can least afford it. I noticed it before. Mal's smile is bright, but there's always been something a little sad behind it. Turns out my gut was right. Poor kid. I can't do much to help, but I can like and share. I thought I had it bad. Turns out he has it worse. Hang in there, man. It'll get better. Reading through these comments, I'm even more confused. How did I suddenly become a tragic protagonist? I'm not even crying, so why is everyone else? Lena holds up the microphone and interviews President Dorian while fighting back tears, her voice cracking the entire time. She wipes her eyes more than once when she thinks no one is looking. President Dorian speaks with steady conviction. Given Mal's particular circumstances, the school has already submitted an application to the Ministry of Education for a special hardship scholarship on his behalf. Mal, you can rest easy, and so can everyone watching, even if the Ministry of Education doesn't approve it. Our school will fund it out of its own pocket. Mal will be taken care of. The live stream floods with comments the moment he finishes. May good people always be blessed. This president is a genuinely good man. Agricultural University is a genuinely good school. I've been watching since the very beginning. This president really is something else. His hair has gone gray over Mal's situation. You rarely find a school leader this responsible anymore. Does anyone know his name? I want to write a letter of commendation to the Ministry of Education. His name is President Dorian. You can find his profile online. Reading through the stream of praise directed at himself, President Dorian can't suppress the upward twitch of his mouth. Good. Mission accomplished. With this many viewers singing his praises on record, even if the Ministry of Education sends someone down to investigate, he's well insulated. President Dorian pats my hand and shifts naturally into a warm, caring smile. Mal, life may be full of hardship, but after every storm comes the sun. Focus on your recovery. Agricultural University will always be your strongest support. I manage a thin smile and nod to show I understand. This old fox is something else entirely. After seeing President Dorian and Counselor Leo out, the naturally emotional Lena starts crying even harder. The way she's looking at me is exactly how she'd look at a stray dog on the side of the road. I know she means well, but this really isn't necessary. It gets to the point where a nurse comes in to change my drip and hears Lena sobbing before she even opens the door. The nurse assumes something has gone wrong with me again and nearly screams. She ends up having to ask Lena to step outside and compose herself first. Before I can even catch my breath, Director Aldrich walks in with a few doctors in tow. Mal, how are you feeling? A little tightness in my chest, I answer. Chest tightness? Director Aldrich frowns. That shouldn't be happening. The toxins should be fully cleared from your system. I sigh. It's nothing. I just thought of something sad and it made my chest feel heavy. The live stream viewers assume I'm thinking about my tragic backstory and flood the stream with gifts, but the real reason I feel heavy is because the system just pinged me again. This damn system truly never gives me a moment's peace. Director Aldrich smiles and offers some encouragement. Try to look on the bright side of things. Don't get stuck in a spiral. Take this poisoning, for example. It's a terrible thing, but through monitoring your body's response, we've gathered an enormous amount of valuable research data. The doctor standing beside Director Aldrich nod with barely contained excitement. Mal, your body is truly extraordinary. I have never encountered anything like it. You are nothing short of a masterpiece. The one speaking is a white-haired old professor with a face full of stubble, whose eyes are burning with a hunger that is equal parts fascination and academic obsession. The look gives me goosebumps. I instinctively go on guard. Noticing my reaction, Director Aldrich quickly steps in. Mal, relax. What he means is that your physical constitution is exceptional. Exceptionally exceptional. Director Aldrich then hands me two medical reports. The one on the left shows your readings when you first came in. The one on the right is your current data. Compare them. When you were at peak toxicity, every single reading was far below survivable levels. Theoretically, by those numbers, there was no point attempting resuscitation. And truthfully, that was effectively what happened. The toxins had already traveled through your bloodstream into every organ, causing irreversible damage. Liver failure and kidney failure followed one after the other. All we could do was keep you hydrated and provide basic support. We all thought it was over. And then, somehow, your own body detoxified itself and pulled you through. Director Aldrich delivers this with a calm, matter-of-fact tone. But the live stream viewers have already painted the picture in their heads. Is Director Aldrich saying they basically didn't do much and Mal just survived on his own? No way. How is that even possible? How is he not dead? That's how poisoning works. Unless there's a specific antidote, once the toxin spreads through the body, all you can do is rely on the liver to detoxify it. That's why the first thing to fail when someone is poisoned is always the liver. It's the organ responsible for breaking down toxins. Once the liver goes, the person goes. This is wild. So while Mal was just sleeping, his immune system was in there absolutely going off? After hearing Director Aldrich explain it like that, I finally understand why these doctors keep looking at me the way they do. Good thing we live in a society governed by law, otherwise I might genuinely end up on a dissection table. Director Aldrich, so what brings you here exactly? Director Aldrich smiles and slides a few documents toward me. We'd like to access your monitoring data from your hospital, say, and run a few additional tests. This involves your personal medical information, so we'll need your consent and cooperation. These are the cooperation documents. Take your time looking them over. If you agree, we'll transfer a research fee of 100,000 yuan immediately upon signing. 100,000. I'm genuinely moved. Not only is he not slicing me open, he's paying me 100,000 yuan on top of it. What a man. I pick up the documents and read carefully. It's a habit I've always kept. No matter how trustworthy the person handing me a contract might be, I always read every word. In a society governed by law, a verbal promise and a written contract are two very different things. Only after confirming there are no issues do I sign. The moment I finish signing, Director Aldrich slides a white card across to me. I stare at it blankly. What's this? This is the White Dragon card from the Medical Alliance, valid nationwide. With this card, all your medical expenses can be billed to an account first. If your checkup results and other data prove to be valuable medical reference material, your medical expenses will be fully waived, and you may even receive additional bonuses. The live stream can't stay calm after hearing this. No way, that card sounds insane. Is that the legendary All Access Pass? This is way beyond an All Access Pass. A card that lets you build to an account means Mal's personal profile and case history will be shared across the network. Every hospital in the country will effectively be at his service. Funny, I get the opposite feeling. Seems more like he's serving every hospital in the country. The viewers aren't wrong. The reason Director Aldrich is giving me this card is precisely because of my unusual constitution, fragile, yet unkillable. For an ordinary person, this would be a curse. But for people in medical research, I am the most perfect walking specimen they could ever hope to find. Alright, Mal, I'll leave you to rest. Take good care of yourself. Documents in hand, Director Aldrich leaves the room. Lying in bed, I can't shake the feeling that I've been taken advantage of again. But honestly, it's not a bad deal. At least I never have to worry about medical bills again. For the next 2 days, I just eat and drink at the hospital like everything is perfectly normal. During this time, Director Aldrich arranges several checkups and blood draws. Every single time the results come back, he and the professors go into a frenzy of excitement. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. His body has developed antibodies against phytolacca root toxin. Director, should we have him ingest a small amount of phytolacca root again just to test it? Yes, Director, if the antibodies are confirmed, this could be a landmark breakthrough in medicine. Director Aldrich glances at me, and I can see the temptation flickering behind his eyes. The human body contains a vast genetic library of potential antibodies. According to research, antibodies against virtually every known pathogen exist somewhere in this library. It's simply a matter of finding them in time. Most people die before their body gets there. Cancer remains incurable for the same reason. The specific key within the human body that unlocks its defeat has never been found. Find that key, and cancer stops being a death sentence. Now that I've developed antibodies against phytolacca root toxin, verifying it would be like finding that exact key for this particular poison. And through that key, they could potentially develop antibodies for an entire class of similar toxins. Director Aldrich, why are you staring at me like that? I'm not a lab rat. Director Aldrich laughs awkwardly. Mal, no need to get anxious. We would never do anything that crosses ethical lines. I'm simply here to let you know you've recovered. You're free to be discharged. Great news, Director Aldrich. Do I need to handle the discharge paperwork myself? Director Aldrich shakes his head. No need. I'll take care of it. That feels incredible. Having connections at the hospital really does make all the difference. Don't even have to handle my own discharge. Just walk out. As I walk out of the hospital, Lena offers me a ride back to school in the station's car. After the phytolacca root incident, the station has fully committed to following me. In just 2 days, the live viewership broke 300,000, and Lena's team has become one of the station's hottest programs. Lena, I'm going to sleep for a bit. I say this, settle into the passenger seat, and close my eyes. At that moment, the system notification pings in my head again. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have successfully survived one disease and earned 100 fate coins. A new disease has been prepared for you. Please make your selection within 10 minutes, or the system will automatically assign a disease on your behalf. Wait, there are only 3 minutes left already? This curses system, the moment it detects I've recovered, it's right back at it. I steady myself and look at the 3 options the system has presented. Fracture, sudden cardiac death, severe disability. My temples throb at the sight of these familiar choices. I've already been through poisoning, so that option is gone, replaced by severe disability. The other 2 remain exactly as before, which means a disease slot only refreshes after I've survived the one that was there before. Could this system be any more inhumane? Just as I'm thinking this, a new interface pops up in my mind, the Fate Store. The moment I see it, I light up. Now we're talking. All that suffering can't be for nothing. There has to be some kind of reward. I enter the Fate Store and browse the inventory. One look and I'm floored. This store has everything. With enough fate coins, I can theoretically exchange for anything. I check my balance. 200 fate coins. Well, this is embarrassing. I can only afford the cheaper items for now. Then something catches my eye. An item called Healing Serum. That sounds interesting. I tap to view the details. Healing Serum. Upon use, all treatment received in the following 1 hour is enhanced by 10 times its normal effectiveness. Exchange price, 50 fate coins. I get it. With this serum, my recovery time gets compressed, and I can get out of the hospital faster. That makes it genuinely useful. Some diseases involve treatment processes that are agonizing. Shorten the process and you shorten the suffering. That's good enough for me. Alright, I'll take it. Payment confirmed. Congratulations, Healing Serum successfully exchanged and placed in your inventory. With the Healing Serum confirmed in my inventory, I feel myself relax. I look back at the 3 options and settle on severe disability. It has to be better than sudden cardiac death. Host has made a selection. Next disease, severe disability. Reading the notification, I feel a knot of unease in my stomach. The system didn't specify what kind of disability. It can't be too extreme, right? Just as that thought crosses my mind, a loud bang comes from outside and the car jolts to a stop. I open my eyes just in time to see a man in a face mask charging toward the car and slamming his fist against my window. I've never encountered anything like this before. Are people really this volatile these days? Lena is startled too, and instinctively locks the doors. Then she pulls out her phone to call the police. Noticing me staring straight at the man, Lena assumes I'm frightened and quickly tries to reassure me. It's okay, I'm calling the police right now. Let's just stay in the car and wait. She says it to comfort me, but she's just as on edge herself, because the man outside is escalating fast. He starts hammering the car window. Just the sound of the glass rattling under his fists tells you how hard he's hitting. Then he starts yanking at the door handles, kicking the side mirror. He is an absolute maniac. John has had the camera trained on the man the whole time. Through the lens it's clear, he was the one who tried to cut into the lane illegally. Lena didn't yield, and now the man lost it completely. The viewers in the live stream immediately erupt. What is wrong with this guy? He's the one who violated traffic rules. How does he have the nerve to act like this? People like this exist everywhere, but I've never personally seen someone this unhinged before. The way he launched off that car door, absolutely furious, I can't stop laughing. The camera crew inside the car is at a loss. They assumed he'd bang on the window a couple of times and that would be it. But he just keeps escalating, like he's been injected with pure adrenaline. I'm actually entertained. I did not expect to walk out of the hospital and straight into something like this. When I reach for the door handle, Lena grabs my arm in a panic. Mal, what are you doing? I smile. He looks pretty worked up. I'm going to go calm him down. Lena stares at me like I've lost my mind. You just said he's worked up and you still want to go out there? You'll get hit. Listen to me. Stay in the car. We wait for the police. Please. Of course I don't want to. Ignoring her attempts to stop me, I push the door open and step out. The live stream goes wild. He just walks straight out to face him. What a guy. Youth and impulse. A dangerous combination. The way that guy is right now, this is definitely going to get physical. Exactly. Mal's body is in no shape for a fight. He's not going to win against that man. Everyone is holding their breath for me, but I'm perfectly calm. Road rage? I've just never had the chance to deal with it before. Today's the day I put his bad habit to rest. The man didn't expect a young guy to actually get out of the car. He strides up to me and jabs his finger in my face, unleashing a torrent of abuse. Do people even know how to drive? If you can't drive, take the bus. Stop coming out here and causing problems for everyone. This is my brand new car. I just picked it up. You've turned it into a write-off. Perhaps worried the man might actually throw a punch, a woman quickly gets out of the car too. Unlike the man, this woman appears considerably calmer. She walks a slow circle around the car first, then speaks in a tone dripping with condescension. Young drivers today really have no standards at all. I have to wonder how they even got their license. Did they just skip the test entirely? Forget it, Adrian. There's no point talking to a kid like this. What does he know? Young man, pay us 40,000 yuan and we'll call it even. We're not looking to make things difficult for you. The live stream floods with comments instantly. The audacity of this woman. A scratch on the bumper, and she's demanding 40,000 yuan? These two are cut from the same cloth, clearly raised without manners. He's all rage, she's all scheming. Get Mal back in the car. I'm stressed just watching this. There's nothing to be gained talking to people like this. They're the ones who broke the rules and now they want to settle it privately. That woman is calculating. I haven't said a word the entire time. Just standing there smiling at them. My smile is making them uneasy, but the unease quickly curdles into anger. What does this kid think he's playing at? Is he laughing at them? Adrian snaps. What are you smiling at, punk? Keep smiling and I'll gouge your eyes out. The woman called Faye has had enough too. What is wrong with you? I'm having a perfectly civil conversation with you and you just stand there grinning at us. What exactly is that supposed to mean? They've left their car in the middle of the road and are pointing in my face. It doesn't take long before passers-by start gathering. At first the onlookers can't figure out what's going on, but someone who saw the whole thing starts explaining, and the picture quickly becomes clear. The crowd immediately takes my side. You two have some nerve? You're the ones who illegally cut into the lane, and you're standing there yelling at him? Exactly, and he's just a kid on top of it. You are being way too unreasonable. With the crowd turning on them, the couple finally loses whatever composure they had left. Faye drops all pretense and starts making a scene. Do any of you actually know what happened? Look at you all playing the hero. Don't think being in a crowd makes you right. He's not leaving this spot until he pays. The situation keeps escalating. Lena and John get out of the car. The moment Faye sees John with the full-size professional camera on his shoulder, she freezes for a second. Then she explodes. Why is that thing pointed at me? Do you know what portrait rights are? Turn it off right now. Lena tries to explain calmly. Please calm down. We're with the city television station and we're currently live streaming. Before Lena can finish, Faye reaches for the camera again. I don't care what station you're from. Filming me without my consent is a violation of my rights. Turn it off this instant. Just as Faye's hand is about to reach the camera, I step in and block her. Lady, I've been very patient with you two. You want to play it unreasonable? I'm warning you. That's professional broadcasting equipment John is carrying. A single unit starts at over 100,000 yuan. You really want to be responsible for that? That gives Faye immediate pause. 100,000 yuan camera. She genuinely cannot afford that. But her eyes sharpen again almost immediately. She can't afford the camera, but roughing up a kid? That's easy enough. With that thought, she lets loose. I thought you were mute. Turns out you can actually talk, you little brat. I smile at the string of insults. You've got some nerve actually daring to talk to me like that. I reach into my pocket and pull out the white card Director Aldrich gave me. Do you know what this is? Faye stares at it blankly and shakes her head. This is the White Dragon card, given to me personally by Director Aldrich. With this card, I can receive medical treatment at any hospital in the country on account, with top priority service guaranteed. Faye is even more confused now. She was expecting maybe a bank card, something that would signal wealth or status. But I pull out what looks like a medical insurance card. She lets out a short laugh and swings her hand, knocking the card clean out of my hand. What kind of nonsense is that? Did you escape from a hospital, you lunatic? Don't push me. Hearing Faye's threat, Lena immediately steps in front of me. Please calm down. Mal's health is very fragile. If you actually lay a hand on him, you will be held fully responsible for whatever happens. I'm almost amused. Hit me? Where does she get the nerve to talk to me like that? I signal Lena to step aside, then deliberately lean my face forward. Go ahead, don't hold back. If you've got the guts, take a swing. Adrian and Faye both go pale with fury, but neither of them actually moves. After all, the entire crowd has their phones out and recording, and there are traffic cameras everywhere. One punch and they're paying for it. Seeing them hold back, I let out a cold laugh. All that noise and it turns out you're all talk. I actually thought you might have the courage to do something. They're shaking with rage. I don't give them an inch. You what? Either make a move or shut your mouth. Stop embarrassing yourselves in front of everyone. My comeback sends the live stream viewers into a frenzy. I didn't expect that although Mal is fragile, he could go off like that when he needs to. Absolutely no mercy. Never underestimate a college student's capacity for a verbal takedown. The vast majority of the most ruthless online commenters are college students. If he wasn't on a live stream right now, I'm pretty sure Mal would have gone even harder. Mal really does have a strong sense of justice. Don't let the fragile body fool you. That man has guts. He walked up to that couple without a trace of fear, and they couldn't even bring themselves to touch him. The viewers are living for this. But Adrian and Faye are seething. Adrian has always had a short fuse. That's the only explanation for flying out of the car the moment there was a fender bender. Now, watching me openly taunt him, he really cannot hold back anymore. He walks up to me, fist clenched. Kid, don't think for a second I won't touch you. At worst, hitting you costs us a little money. And money is the one thing we're not short of. You get that?